and empower, a lifestyle change, developing discipline, triathlon training, 75 hard, the personal trainer experience. Alright, welcome to the Mom Bod Pod, all things motherhood, all things fitness. Today we've got our Wildcard Day, and we are going to be talking about the only century of women's rights in America, voting in Kansas, and our thoughts on a tiny home village in KCMO, KCK area for the homeless, and it's titled Exchange City. So, before we get dived into this, I want to let you know that today's episode is going to follow along with a YouTube workout video. It's going to be based upon a Tabata format. So you've got about 12 minutes of work. Tabata means you exercise a move for an extended period of time. You give it an interval of rest, and then you exercise it for another round of that time. Give it a second of rest. So we are going to be working for 20 seconds, resting for 10 seconds. Then you work again for 20 seconds, rest for 10, and you repeat that based on what the format says. So there's going to be 6 rounds total. So each round is going to have 2 exercises. Example, round 1, you're going to do your first exercise for 20 seconds, rest for 10. You're going to do your second exercise, rest for 10. Then you're going to go back to the top, first exercise for 20 seconds, rest for 10 seconds. Then you go second exercise, 20 seconds, and rest for 10 seconds. So 20, 10, 20, 10. All the time, repeat it 2 times. So the workout is going to follow along just with that formatting, and I will also have little verbal cues on the page telling you when to move on. I'm hoping to keep the workout in a 12-minute time frame, so maybe 15 minutes. Here we go. Topic 1, the only century of women's rights in America. For this topic, I just wanted to do a basic Google search, and whatever I clicked on, I just explored, and I'm recording my random thoughts with it, okay? So I typed in inspiring women. So I found 37 inspiring women who shaped feminism. Now, I'm going to be going through these pictures on my phone, but I have read through them, so I briefly kind of know a little bit about them. But basically, this is just going to be the things that's like, boom, this spoke to me. Okay, first one, we got 1920. This is when women got the right to vote, and it was done by a group called the Suffragettes. So what I found mostly important is, like, your names like Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Stanton. These are all, like, the people, those are, like, 2 Blackwell. I remember that last name. Like, those are all names that I remember in, like, the history books in, like, high school specifically that pertained to women's rights. And it was really only those names. This Susan B. Anthony heavily, okay? But I didn't really remember learning anything, like, after that. So then let's move into number 2. 1935 to 1962, Eleanor Roosevelt wrote a column called My Day in a newspaper that was addressing women's work, equality, and a basic right before a term feminism was even a thing. So this was, like, the first time a female, like, broadcasted the message of, like, trying to empower other women to, like, take control and pride for themselves and, like, fight for that. So yeah, I fuck with that. All right, then I am so sorry, I may say this last name wrong. Okay, Marlene Dietrich. Yo, this girl made pants normal in 1930s, all right? So this is the first woman who changed the fashion industry by making it a social norm where women could wear suits. So we got pants in the 1930s. The 1930s, okay? We could wear pants. Pants. That just blows my mind, okay? I think of the things that we're, like, fighting for today, and I'm like, man, 1930s, that's when we got pants? Like, shit. Okay, so moving on. We got Maya Angelou. So she is a public speaker, a powerful writer. She was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She wrote and spoke about overcoming gender and racial discrimination. One thing that really, like, stood out to me was the amount of books that she has written. 36 books, 7 autobiographies. Like, I'm just like, wow, that's, like, a lot of knowledge, honestly, is what you just passed everything on. 36. I can only imagine the time that took. Okay, then we have Madonna. Madonna encouraged women to take ownership over their sexuality and their lives. So I would say that this was like the first woman who publicly was like, you know what, I want to enjoy my life and whatever that looks like, I think I should go for it. Sheryl Sandberg. Okay, the Facebook CEO is responsible for creating a lean in movement. So here's why I like Sheryl, okay? This woman, to be in that level of that big of an organization or in a company in general, like that takes time to work your way up that ladder. That takes a lot of connections, just a lot of hard work, long-term hard work of constantly grinding to get to that big of a company at a COO level. So being a woman at that alone is like very empowering. And then her also dedicating like a way to try to help and educate in excelling in the workforce, creating a movement to help women have that opportunity and that knowledge. I'm here for it. Like, that's awesome. So 10 stars. All right, let's move on to topic number 2, voting in Kansas. Okay, so we have elections August 2nd. These are going to be for our state elections. So, my 2 cents on voting, of all the elections that if I wish you would vote for, these are the ones I wish you would vote for, because these are the ones that actually make things happen that like affect your daily life. Okay, like the big 4-year term ones, like yeah, those matter, yeah, but like that's on a system, like there's a whole system that goes to it. Like this level though, individually, like they all count very, very much. So if there was a time to ever vote, now's the time. I just talked about all of those women who basically dedicated their lives to women's rights to their own selves, and they're just being a step further. Okay, 1930s, guys, we got pants. I cannot even stress that enough. It will stay with me for the rest of the day. But your right to vote, it all started in the 1920s, your right to vote. And I feel like we owe, all the way from getting the fucking pants until what we have now, we owe it the courtesy of at least going out and voicing ourselves and voting, period. Whatever you want to vote for, but you really just need to vote. Like, I feel like we should honor that. We accomplished a lot in a little time. And this is our first time in life that we are actually potentially going to be taking a step back in terms of that ownership and that control over our bodies. So it's a big thing regardless of which way you lean. So, how do we vote though? Okay, so it's pretty simple. You just need to register online. Start out super simple. Okay, pull up Google, pull up Safari, and I want you to type in on register to vote. Okay, so when you register to vote and you Google it, it's going to pull up a list of suggestions. Okay, the first couple ones are going to be ad sponsored. So basically scroll down a little bit farther and then it's going to come up with your state one. So long as you have your location turned on, it's probably going to hit you with whatever your state is. Then you register to vote in your state. Okay, it's going to need simple things like your address, your phone number, your birthday, your social security, probably your driver's license as well. Okay, those types of things are required to vote. So have those prepared. Let's say that's not an option for you. You can go to usa.gov and request a mail-in ballot. Now, those have different dates, though, from when you can register online, so make sure you're paying attention to that. In the state of Kansas, you have to register to vote by July 12th, okay? So you have until next Tuesday, okay? You got 5 days. You listen to this Thursday morning, you got 5 days left to vote, or left to register to vote for August 2nd's election, okay? So, let me touch on another thing on voting real quick, though, is like, why the fuck is it so hard in the first place? When you're 18, why can it not automatically just be a thing? The day I get my driver's license or my state ID is the day I'm automatically registered to vote in my fucking state. What the fuck? It's like an added step that I feel like is just not needed to almost make it more difficult and more out of the way to where people won't do it. So that's my 2 cents. But last, let's touch on homelessness. Okay, so ever since I moved to Kansas City, I have been seeing a whole new world of homelessness. Where I grew up, about an hour outside, I didn't really see a lot of homeless people. And when I did see the homeless people, they were generally taken care of by the community. So I didn't see families that were homeless. On the weekends, it was just, corners are filled with people. Every single park, every shopping center that you go to, And it's like so sad, and I like obviously see a problem, and I'm just like, I'm trying to brainstorm like solutions, because I'm like, okay, we cannot be having this. Like, this is way too many people. This is a problem. We need to do something. And I'm thinking of like something that could be beneficial long term, because clearly whatever we've been doing where we're just like housing them isn't obviously a good solution. So like, invest more, and not just more money, but like critically thinking, how can we fucking fix this? So I was looking, I have my own kind of thoughts on it, and something that kind of popped up in correlation to it was a mayor in Missouri proposed a $7 million tiny home community built in his city. And I thought it was a brilliant idea. I was looking at some of the other tiny homes that have been in like California and whatnot, and saw the infrastructure of it. But then I kind of thought, add the idea of Exchange City. So if you don't know what Exchange City is, in middle school, I got to go to a field trip where your middle school class got to go with a bunch of other middle school classes from other schools, and you all had different jobs, okay? So I was a photographer, and I had a camera crew with me. And these camera crew kids were from other different schools as well. But we tested to where we would all have like similar personalities, where we would work well together, because that mimics the real world as well. And we were working together, and we were given daily tasks that we had to do, in terms of like, we had a couple hours to do these within our field trip time. And we would come back, and if we did those tasks, we would get paid. And then if we got paid, we could go spend it on the other parts. And guess what? There were some other people who their jobs were to like make snacks, or provide like a service for you, or a gift shop where people were like cashiers. And so you actually wanted to go spend within your community, and you wanted to go see your friends, and you wanted to go see what this person was doing. And there was just a lot of cool stuff that was with it, but you were learning how to like manage life and money and a job all at the same time. So then you implement this over like a year period. You turn this into like a boot camp. Okay, you get like teachers, really great educated teachers who like believe in this cause, because they're gonna have to be good teachers. They're gonna have to break people's old habits, because these are adults. They have learned to live a certain way their entire life, and didn't obviously work. So you have to start at ground zero, while also breaking the old patterns that they probably still have. So you got to get dedicated people into it. It has to be a whole community-wide investment to just get better as a whole. But if enough people came together, they were like, we're going to better this. Like, we need to show that we can do this. I think it is a 10,001% possible. So $7 million to fix one big city of this situation in Missouri is a really great ratio, because in 2021, Missouri got $39 million in homelessness funding. So $7 million of that to be able to go to this community. I'm really excited, and I hope it gets pushed through, because I think it could be a breakthrough for Kansas and Missouri, honestly. So that is the end of Mom Bod Pod Wildcard episode 6. Thank you so much for listening, and make sure you register to vote. Remember, you have until Tuesday. Until next time, bye. Before you go, I wanted to share that I am going to be speaking at a women's wine and wellness event this Saturday, July 9th in Lawrence, Kansas. This is a great opportunity to meet lots of other women who have different businesses and different life stories as well. So I hope to see you there.